Hello and welcome to this introductory tutorial on SPSS for beginners. So are you ready to start learning SPSS for raw data analysis? I think that you are on the right place. So what is SPSS? SPSS is an acronym that stands for Statistical Package for Social Sciences. It is a versatile and expansive program designed to take a range of statistical procedures. So SPSS software is widely used in a range of disciplines like social sciences, economic, demographics, and many other social sciences in data analysis. It is important to note that SPSS is not the only statistical software. There are many others that you may come across if you pursue a career that requires you to work with data analysis. Some of the other more common statistical packages include STATA, SAS, R, Python, and many others. And the focus for this session will be, however, on SPSS. As you can notice on our screen, we have SPSS interface that have two main tabs. So as you can notice in SPSS interface, we have data view and variable view. So you can click on each other to see what it looks like. So coming into data view, you can notice that we have rows that are represented by a number that can in data set represent individual. We also have in our column, in each column, var, which is the default name for variable. So we record our variable in columns. We have individual that are in our data set in rows. So in variable view, we can have these different names. So we have the name, the type of the variable, we have the width, we have decimals, number of decimal that you can define if you have if our variable is numerical. So we have the label of our variable. You can define also value set. You can define if whether or not our variable we have missing variable or not. You can define the columns, lines, measure, and as well as row. So in this tutorial, we'll show you first of all how to generate, to create a new variable and tag data into SPSS. And after that, we will present to you the interface of SPSS and show you how to use it in simple data analysis like descriptive and some short inferential analysis that we can that SPSS can offer to you. So for this example, we will present to you we'll show you how to create a data set containing information of the following variable. We'll have the sex. We have many individuals that will record the sex, the age of the individual. We have a salary. Another variable will be the country of the individual, and we'll have a COVID variable that will see or show if whether or not individual have a COVID-19. And for country, there are Central African country such as Cameroon, Chad, Central African Republic, Equatorial Guinea, and Gabon, as well as Democratic Republic of Congo. So how to create such variables, such variable in SPSS. So we'll come here. Our first variable that we are going to create is just a variable sex of the individual. So we create first of all the variable that will be the identification of. So we can create our sex variable here. So coming to in these cells, we'll create we'll type sex, and you can see that when we click on enter, the default value for all these have been created automatically. The type is numeric. The numeric type is by default type. The width is 8 decimal 2. Label of the variable, we will put the label of our variable here. So for the numeric, we will keep the type as numeric. The width will just put here 1. We use the width to 1 only, because sex, for example, we have 2 modality, 1 for male and 2 for female. So here we have number of decimal. We don't need to have decimal here, so we'll put 1 here. No value set here. So our third variable will be the salary, month salary. We put here salary. Numeric 8 will just put here monthly salary of the individual. Monthly salary of the individual. Another variable will be the country. And as country, as we said, we have 6 countries: Cameroon, Chad, Central African Republic, Equatorial Guinea, and Gabon, and Democratic Republic of Congo, that are Central Africa country. So we'll put here a country, numerical, decimal only 0 decimal, if will be 1. don't have COVID at, then click on OK. So while you have defined a different data set, the different characteristic and variable, like here, you can click on this icon here, just behind edit, to record what you are already done. Click on save to save all the work you have done so far. Click on save, and we'll ask you to record this in the data file that you can select on your computer and browse in order to record in the given data set. I will call it COVID data underscore data. We'll choose the option SPSS 7.7.0 COVID underscore data. Then click on save, and our data set have been saved on the file that just fine. And here you can see that it is possible now to type your data. If we go on data view, you can see that variable sex, age, salary, country, and COVID has been created. And the next step here is just to type in data. So we can type here 1, sex 45, salary 90, country 2, COVID 0, past previous second individual, sex can be 2, for example, age 40, salary 2050, country 1, COVID 1, have COVID, and so on. You can type in your data. So you can notice that we already have some data here that has been put into SPSS software. We have 129 individual in which we have typed data for COVID-19 information about. We have all information on sex, age, salary, country, as well as COVID. Yeah, the second step in our tutorial will be to show you how to manipulate this data. For example, create a new variable, making some simple and most deeper analysis on our data set. So first thing you need to know in this SPSS interface is that we have many options here, many tabs that you can use. For example, the type file that you can use to import data or open a new data set, the SPSS data set. You can save that data as you can do any many other things. We have the type edit that can be used to, for example, insert a variable, insert a new cases, new cases in our data set. We have, for example, the tab data that can be used, for example, to split our data into 2 data set, select and delete or keep some cases if you want. You can use, for example, the option transform to generate, for example, a new variable. You have also analyze tool. Analyze, that is the most used tabs in SPS that can be used to perform descriptive statistics, Bayesian statistics, run many other simple and complex analyses like general linear model, regression, as well as just multiple imputation, something like that. We can also input graphic like bar chart, and some other many other thing like that. So these two tabs in which we will focus especially in this tutorial is the tabs transform and analyze. Transform and analyze. So for the tab analyze, we will show you how to generate a new variable. For example, here we have age in here. So we can generate, for example, two classes of ages that will classify for people who have, for example, more than 50 years and person that have age more than 50. So let us go on transform. We create a new variable that will be called age plus underscore classes. So we'll create not only two classes, as we said, we'll create three classes. Those who are more than 40 years. The second class will be for person that are aged between 40 to 60, and the last class which will be for those who are aged more than 60 years. So we create our first class. We give the value 1, and we set a condition by coming here in this tab here, if. So we click on if here, down here, click on if, and include cases. Select include cases. We will select our variable age and use this arrow in order to put it into variable section. We will require our variable to be in our first class to be less than 40, less than 40-year old. So we click on continue and then click on OK, and you can see that our variable has been our first class have been generated, and we can generate as well our second class. Transform, compute variable, we keep the same name, age classes. Our second value will be 2. 2 for those who are if condition, age is superior, is more than 14, and the second condition will be that age must be less than 60, less than 60, and then you click on continue and then click on OK. I can see that our second class has been generated. We'll generate our third class by clicking on compute variable, and then we will put here 3. Our third characteristics will be if age is more than 60-year-old. Then click on continue and then click on OK, and you can see that our variable, a new variable have been generated, and we have a variable age data set, and we can come into variable and define some conditions, some characteristic. We have will not have a decimal here. Width can be 1 as well as other variable. We can create a label here. 42, and we can have the percentage of each class, and we can just have a valid percent and a cumulative percent. Valid percent can change if we have missing value in our data set. Here we don't have any missing value, so that we cannot plot a different percentage for valid percent. So that's how we can analyze a simple variable. We can also cross two variables to see, for example, the repartition of COVID. Those who have COVID with age classes. So we can also go on descriptive statistics, analyze descriptive statistics, and then click on cross tab. We can select our variable. Our raw variable will be age classes. Our column variable will be sex, will be COVID, have COVID. And then we click on OK, and we can see that we have here a partition of our sample between age classes and those who have COVID or not. You can notice that for those who were less than 40-year-old, for the 63 one that were in these classes, 39 do not have COVID and 24 had COVID. For those who were between 40 to 59, that were 24 people, 9 do not have COVID and 15 of them has COVID. And for those who were more than 50 years, that were 42 people. For these 42 people, 24 of them do not have COVID and 80 of them have COVID. You can go on descriptive statistics cross table. In the option we can put on statistic, we can click on chi-square to run a chi-square test to see whether or not there is a link, there is independence or not between variable or age class and COVID-19. So we click on pursue, continue, and then click on OK, and we can see that in the result, after a cross table, we have the chi-square test that record a person chi-square value, and as well as p-value, which is here 0.012. 0.12, that is more than 5%. 5% is a threshold that is used in statistical in social sciences, meaning that when as well as the null hypothesis of the chi-square test is that there is independence among two variables. We just accept the null hypothesis because the p-value is more than 5%, meaning that variable age and COVID are independent. Completely independent between variable age and age classes, and independent. You can just run some few analysis like regression. We'll go on tab analyze, then go on regression, and then go on we'll first of all use for regression, we'll use linear regression. For this regression, we'll put in dependent variable tab our variable age with salary. We will explain the variable month salary in according to variable sex. We select sex, age, and sex and age. So we'll put all these two variables and then click on OK. And you can see that we have the result of our regression showing that sex of individual is not statistically significant. When we take a 5% threshold, you can see that at 10% level, you can notice that sex of individual significantly influence in the monthly salary of people. You can also run things like logistic regression in analysis. Regression, logistic binary, for example, will explain the COVID variable, have COVID, and what explain the fact you have COVID variable. We use the variable sex, age, and for example, monthly salary. Put on covariate, and then as categorical variable, we select the variable sex and continue, then click on OK. And you can see in the result of our logistic regression that there is no influence among no variable like among sex, age, and monthly salary is significant because the p-value here are just all more than 5%. So we'll stop here for this introductory tutorial. We'll do many other tutorials in order to show you how to use SPSS, and we think that in this tutorial the aim was just to help you have some basics in which you can use in order to considerably increase your level in the using of SPSS.